Okay, preheat your oven first to 170. Okay, so that's on. And then let's get straight to our cream part of this potato bake. So in a blender, you're going to add some cashews. There's quite a few there. Okay, I'm going to add some water. And we're just going to blend this until it's very creamy. What I'm after in this consistency is I don't want to feel the sandiness of nuts between my fingers. Really important, okay? So we're going to stop and start the machine just to see where we're at for that sandiness, okay? Okay, lovely. All right, let's have a look. This is what I'm after. This really creamy texture. Now it's not seasoned or anything, so there's no salt and pepper in there. We're going to do that in a minute. The next point of this, so that's my cream. That's the alternative to dairy. Very good fats in there. Very, 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 very good fats. Okay. All right. Next thing I want to do is cut my potatoes. I've got some potatoes that I washed just before we started filming. So they're all done. Quick recipe, yeah? Very quick. I need a bowl so I can put all this into. So all I'm going to do is run my potatoes through here. Now if they don't fit like this, all you do is just slice them in half. We want them nice slices. Perfect. Keeping the skins on. And one more. How quick's this? It's the chef's cheat. Oh yeah, fabulous. Okay, straight into here. All the same size. Oh, it makes me happy. Okay. Get this back on. So that's done. So now I need some mushrooms and some capsicum, just for extra plant, you know, just for extra goodness in the world. So I'm going to do the same thing actually with the mushrooms as I did with the potatoes. Then I'm going to wash the machine, just put it straight through. I've got sliced mushrooms, just lost one. Done. And that's going to go into here. I love how this is all the same size. It just makes the cooking process evenly cooked. Fabulous. Pop that over there. Get this out of the way. All right. Now to my capsicum. Best way to save on. Best way not to waste a capsicum is do exactly what I just did, and then you can just take out all this situation like this. Beautiful. Now I just want julienne slices of this. Nice sharp knife, yeah? Just cutting through that. And then just chop them in half again. And again. Quickest potato bake in town. Need some garlic, just for that flavour. About 3 cloves, I reckon. Nice big ones. Actually, I might put 4 in there. So just smash them. You know what that does? This is easy to get the skins off. All it does is make it easy, so I can just slice them up. In the raw food program I have, we use garlic, and I do the same thing, smash it, but I throw the whole thing in there because it's organic garlic. They've been washed, cleaned very well, and the skin's holding on to nutrients. So throughout that program, you'll see me popping in the whole garlic skins and all. All right, so just running my knife through, as you can see, just chopping that fairly fine, not too fine and not too chunky, just in between. There we go, I'm going to pop that into there. Lovely bubbly. All right, next thing we're going to do is get our baking tray. Any size baking tray you like. I want something a little bit deep instead of quite fat, so I want this to be quite, you know, quite deep, so I'm going to use this one. Okay, so salt and pepper. And some lovely fresh ground pepper out of my mortar and pestle. Mortar and pestle, that's it, yeah. All right. All right, I've got a bigger bowl because I've got quite a lot here. I love how all the potatoes are all the same size. Okay, here comes my wet mix of cream. Get all that goodness out of there. All right, now I'm just going to mix this with my hands. Making sure that garlic, you know, is spread out. Making sure the potatoes are all covered and they're not sitting, you know, not clamping together like this. Just making sure everything's covered in this mix. Okay, now this out of the way and let's pack our tin with this beautiful mixture. Now I'm just going to press this down so everything is even on one. Every time I put something in, I'm just going to dump it in. I'm just going to push it down, making sure everything's even. There's no holes there. That garlic coming through, it's really beautiful. Really beautiful. Okay, now for this beautiful liquid. This is the gold right here. You don't want to be wasting any of this. This is the important part. This is the cream. God, I love this big bowl. Bit awkward, but I'm going to do it as gracefully as I can. Family dinner tonight. Whole family's coming over tonight. All right. Now, pushing it down. It's one thing Heather taught me with her potato bake, actually. She said, make sure you push it down, Cynthia, with your hands. Yes, Heather. Okay, wash my hands. And I want a bit of colour on there. So you can use paprika or you can use some cayenne pepper if you want that hot, spiky, you know, that hot heat coming through. I've got some fresh ground chilli that I did earlier actually, so I'm just going to get a little sieve. So I've just freshly grounded some dried chilli. You can use paprika, totally whatever you want. So I'm just going to pop this on top, just for a bit of colour. And I do want a little bit of heat coming through. Is that lovely? Freshly ground chilli, hey? It worked. Just give it a wee shake to make sure that liquid's kind of getting in amongst those potatoes. Really important. All right, so the alcohol is just going to lock in the steam so the cream doesn't dry out and the potatoes cook quicker. So you're just going to put this over the top and you want to be really quite firm here, trapping in that air. You don't want to let any air escape. You really want that to act as a steaming technique. And then we're going to pop this into the oven. So nice and tight around those edges. Okay, all right. Nice hot oven, straight in. All right, the kitchen is smelling of garlic and capsicum and mushrooms. Oh, of potato bake glory. All right, this has got to be ready by now. Now, when you take this off, just be careful, yeah? Because of the steam. So you want to really just be mindful of what you're doing. Just pull it back towards you and let that steam just come up. And there we have it. Oh, it's good, it's good. Oh yeah, beautiful. Beautiful, 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 perfect. Now I'm going to let this sit. Just let those flavours marry and just relax into the creamy sauce that it is. And then I'm going to serve it up tonight for dinner. It's really that simple. Let's have a little bit of a look-see of what this looks like on a plate. What an easy dish, hey? What a great way to recreate one of those really, you know, classic dishes. Very creamy, very soft, very potatoey. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I'm trying to be sensible, but it's really yummy. And hot. Make sure you get that salt and pepper right in the beginning, yeah? Because that just brings out flavour. This is, you know what, make it and comment below. This is full, creamy deliciousness. It doesn't even feel like there's no cream in it. Like somebody would know. All these good bits, see all these good bits here? This quiche is very interesting because there's no eggs in it. And what's really cool about it is for all the egg-free people out there. Like a lot of people get anaphylactic shock to eggs, or it interferes with their autoimmune disease, or some people break out in rashes. Like it's really quite serious. And then you've got other people that choose not to eat eggs. You know, and this is for the whole combination of humans that have either a serious problem with eggs or have a value system around not eating eggs. So I think it's a gorgeous share. And the filling, I'm going to flavour this with roasted pumpkin and caramelised onions, but you could use just mushrooms and make a beautiful mushroom and asparagus quiche. But at the end of the day, it's the technique that I want to show you and keep it as simple as possible. What's really great for me is the base, and I'm using it, the recipe out of my second cookbook, Celebrate Your Sweet Tooth Naturally. And the base is from the pumpkin pie recipe, which is sublime. Let me show you. And I know it's a sweets book. I get that. You know, it's all about baking, and I actually dedicated it to my son, Jamin. One day he might have children or want to change his palate and have some real sugar in his life. I know kids, right? They do the things. But there's this one recipe. Where is that? Here, this pumpkin pie. This crust is so versatile. I was actually really quite surprised when we first made it. And in the ingredients is white spelt flour, coconut sugar. I know, and it's only 12 grams. A lot of people write in and go, "You sure it's only 12 grams?" I'm like, it's only 12 grams. And then we've got salt, coconut oil, which is frozen, and ice water. So let me take you through this process. But just so you know, this is an incredible recipe on its own with the pumpkin pie filling. But that base, my gosh, what a stunner it is to transform it into something savoury. So I'm going to use white spelt flour. You can use wholemeal if you like, but I love the white. I find it really quite delicious. And I'm using spelt because it's a wonderful, you know, it's a wonderful wheat. Do you know there's many types of wheat out there? There's kumut, there's spelt, there's garden wheat. I call it garden wheat. There's just many times. There's barley. There's so many different wheats, but I just love spelt. And this is a gorgeous organic spelt flour. Now, the key thing is to freeze your coconut oil. And you can notice how I've done it in a kind of a large, is that circumference? I actually don't know. But the reason why I did that is because I want it to spread out and not clump up in a bowl. So freezing your coconut oil is the most important part, because in pastry, you need to use butter, like really cold butter. Yeah, and all you got to do is and you're just going to chop it up. So that's the key process of making this quiche. And I've got that 12 grams of coconut sugar, and I've got some ice water with ice cubes in it. Really important. And then I want a pinch of salt. Coconut sugar. just going to quickly, briefly pulse this so it just combines. Next, I'm going to add the coconut oil that's frozen and chopped up. And you want to blend this so it actually forms into a little bit of a crumb, but just breaking down, and you'll hear the machine doing that. See how that's broken down just by the sound? Now I'm going to add the ice, really cold and icy. Now you can see it's very crumbly and you're like, how is this going to form into a pastry? Well, it does, trust me. Trust me on this. So you don't want it to form into a ball in here, it's really important. So now we're going to take out this mix and put it straight onto the chopping board. You want to put a bit of flour on the board so things don't stick. And see I'm sprinkling that on there? A lot of people get mistaken that it should stay like that, but you need to move it off the board. Right, and now you've got something to play with here, but you also got a nice non-stick surface. Just going to grab it. I'm just going to squeeze it. You can kind of just see how it's coming together really quite beautifully. It's just be confident. Like a lot of people just go, oh, it's all crumbly. No, just be confident. Scoop it in like this. Lift it up. Get some more flour there. Brush it over. Now we've got a beautiful ball that I hardly touched, and now we're going to roll that out. I prefer a rolling pin like this, which is just from the hardware store, and I coat it with flour. And I want to roll it at the size of my actual round baking tin. So I'm going to use a baking tin that measures around 24.35 centimeters. It's a pie tin, and you can line it, but when I have a non-stick one, I don't line it, which I have today. So that's the size that you want. Put that flour back over and just roll evenly and gently with the pressure of your body, just kind of leaning on the pin. And always pick it up. So this is cool. This is what I do. And I do this. And then I get the pastry and I flick it over the rolling pin. I pick it up. I get the tin and I do these ones, and I'm super present. And my legs are still wide. I'm just like, oh my goodness. And I gently just let it fall in like that. You can leave it like that, as rustic as you want. I like to cut it down a little bit, and I'm just going to make it also as rustic as possible. I don't want it very even. Like super, super rustic. I'm going to actually fork it. Just a few holes. Okay. That's really it. And it's straight into a preheated oven at 150 for about 10 minutes, just to allow it to get that little crunchiness happening. And pre-cooking it is definitely the way to go for me. Sometimes my oven is really, really, really hot, and sometimes it's not. It's so bizarre. I can't even explain it. But you need to have a relationship with your oven. For me, I'm on 150 here, around about 150. And I know if I go to my mum's house, it's a different degrees. It's like, it's a hot oven. Her oven's really new and it's fast and it has this fan. And mine's like, 6 years old or whatever. Timer, 10 minutes. And we get the filling ready. The flavors I'm using today in this beautiful quiche is roast pumpkin, caramelized onions. And you can use anything you want. Right? Really, mushrooms, asparagus, broccoli, leek, whatever, but I'm choosing to use this today. And the fresh component of the onion and garlic is in this quiche, and so is the dried. the dried garlic powder and the dried onion powder. And then we've got turmeric, savory yeast, we've got the acid lemon juice and apple cider vinegar, and we've got some beautiful turmeric to make that color kind of an eggy kind of looking color. Then we're gonna hold it together with potato starch. And potato starch really just brings the liquids together and it creates a firmness of the quiche. And the last piece to get it to that eggy flavor is black salt. And it's called kalamalat, I think that's how you say it. And it smells like sulfur. It is unbelievably strong and crazy, crazy smells to that, that match eggs. It's unreal. If you're not into that salt, don't worry about it. You don't need to use it. So the first process is we're going to break down the tofu and the onion and garlic together, just a little bit of a pulse, and then we're going to add all the other ingredients in there except for the pumpkin and the caramelized onions, because we want to place them into the quiche, not have them into a mush. Okay, you just want to pulse this just to break down those chunks of onion and garlic. Okay, after that's broken down a bit, you can kind of see that all that onion and garlic is all mushed in there, and that's what we want. And now the next process is to add all our other ingredients. So savory yeast, onion powder, garlic powder, turmeric for the color. Now we've got the potato starch, around about a tablespoon of lemon juice, and then a little bit of apple cider vinegar. I know, both acids, right? Everything creates a balance. And we're going to whiz that up so it all combines. Okay. What do we need now? Salt and pepper. But do the pepper first, not the normal salt, because the black Kalamata salt is really strong. It's salty as it is. We want that for the flavor of the sulfur, but we also want to season with salt, but use the black salt first, and I'll show you what that looks like. So pepper, and then I'm going to use this stuff. Now, if you can smell this, you will be blown away, because it smells like the strongest sulfur I've ever had. And have a look at the front. A lot of people talk about Himalayan salt only being pink, but there are so many different colors and so many different textures and so many different smells to salt. And this one, oh, it's so strong. Oh, you need to smell that. Seriously, it is so strong. Here, smell it. It is so strong, right? It's intense. It's really intense. So you just want like a little sprinkle to start with. And you just add as you go. If you want a little bit more, you add a little bit more, but I always start with just a little sprinkle and then give it a whiz. Like it smells like egg. Next is I'm going to add about 5 to 6 tablespoons of plant milk. Any milk you like. Can be soy milk, can be rice milk, can be coconut milk, whatever you like, oat milk, it's up to you. It's going to give me just a little bit more texture for that potato starch to actually hold everything into place. This is when you taste it. It definitely needs normal salt, but I'm going to add a little bit more of the black salt. It's like just a little bit, Cynthia, don't overdo it. I always do this, I always say to myself, don't put too much in. And now I'm going to use my normal Himalayan salt for that saltiness to come through, because it's the building blocks of flavor, right? It's so important. It's really good to change over your salt. If you're new to my channel, go to one of my videos about salt, because it's like, I use so many different types of salt. I don't just use the same salt every time. The reason why I do that is because of the different mineral content around the world. One more blend. And that is it. And you can see it, this kind of thick texture. So now this is perfect texture. And what I like to do is grab a bowl Gonna add our eggy, fragrant mix into a bowl. It's like I'm talking to the film crew, but I'm also talking to you at home. You can actually see that texture. It's quite wet, but it's not runny wet, all right? I'm gonna put my caramelized onions. I've got about a cup of caramelized onions, which I just did myself with some beautiful balsamic vinegar, coconut sugar, and red onions, and just cook that down till it's a nice sticky mess. Then I'm gonna take my roast pumpkin and I'm just gonna fold that through, just gently. And then I'm gonna put it straight into my pie tin. Oh my God, this is delicious. You're probably thinking to yourself, how the hell does this hold together? Well, trust me, it does. Every time. I know my friend Ainsley, hi Ainsley, she's allergic to soy, like proper anaphylactic to soy. So she won't be using tofu. So you can use maybe some white beans, and you might just need a bit more potato starch. I want to decorate this with some pine nuts and some slices of tomato. I've got some cherry tomatoes here that I'm super stoked with. I kept them the other day. And then you can just grab a seat, put the music on, and decorate. And just place them all around here. And then I just like to dump a whole bunch of pine nuts on here. Just gonna get your hands and you're just gonna press gently. Just pushing the nuts into the eggy mix. And lastly, a splash of olive oil. Look at that. Into the oven, everyone. 25 minutes, 160. Now we wait, and the whole house is going to smell amazing. What's so cool about this, when you bring it out of the oven, you can serve it straight away hot. It does not fall apart. What's extra cool about this is when you leave it on the counter for a good 30 minutes and everything just goes, oh, thank you for letting me rest. And then you can cut it and serve it with a beautiful salad. I found some dodgy pesto in the fridge, meaning I made it the other night, but it's still bloody good. And there's nothing nicer than roast pumpkin, caramelized onions, and some really cool, yummy, tangy pesto. Okay, so you can have this with veggies and mashed potato and steamed greens and all the things. I'm gonna have it with salad today because I've got a few lovely herbs and sprouts and some nasturtium leaves and rocket leaves and some shredded cucumber and all these incredible things that just make me smile. I'd like to decorate this so it's super pretty, and I really encourage you at home to look at your food differently, to take a minute, right, in your hugely busy schedule, whatever that looks like for you, and just think about how wonderful it is to be a little bit artistic. And you know how I mentioned my friend before, Ainsley? Well, she's in my private kitchen group and she's an incredible cook, and she always puts her food together like it's on show, but it's just her dinner, and she takes a photo, and I'm in awe of her and how she does things. And I totally encourage you to do the same. So I'm gonna pick this lovely plate because I think quiches are kind of old fashioned. And my quiche is really super, super cooled down, and it's actually quite cool because it's been sitting here for quite a while. And I'm just gonna make sure the edges of the crust can come off. You just get a wee little knife and run the knife around the edge. You can actually see how it's separated. Excellent, excellent, happy with that. A bit stuck here, okay, good, good. Okay, like I said, this is super cooled down, and now I'm gonna put it onto here, and this is how I do this. I tip it upside down. I know the nuts go over, it's okay. Put it straight onto the plate. Get my pine nuts back. Okay. And now I have this gorgeous little salad. Have a look at this. I've got some jalapenos. I've got some beautiful shredded cucumber, I've got some nasturtium leaves, I've got some broccoli sprouts, I've got some sunflower sprouts, I've got some baby spinach, I've got some gorgeous rocket, I've got some edible flowers, I've got my dodgy pesto that I just found in the fridge a minute ago, I've got my chili oil that I've made, which I love. I just adore chili oil, I think it's amazing. And then I'm just gonna mix this up, do a little splash of olive oil, and then a little bit of acid, like apple cider vinegar. And I'm gonna serve lunch. Lunch is ready. It's so pretty. It's even prettier in person, you know? When you're looking through a camera, it's very different, but it's just so pretty. And look how everything is holding so well in there. That's the gold. That's the presence of what food, real food can do. It can do really strange things like this and make an eggless quiche. Anyway, Salamat Makan, meaning happy lunch, or happy dinner, happy food. Oh yeah, so much better with pumpkin and caramelized onions. I did one the other day with mushrooms, it was good, but this is 1,000 times better. There are so many versions of pad thai, it's ridiculous. There is just unbelievable amount of different recipes online, and this one's very basic, super like midweek special when you don't feel like cooking and you want that kind of savory, sweet, nutty, you know, chili kind of influence in your mouth with that noodles and some crunch. Here, I'm gonna start with the dressing first, so that's out of the way. And we're gonna use tamarind today. Now, I was talking to my girlfriend, Rochelle, who lives in Australia, about tamarind, and she's like, oh, I've never seen it before, I don't know what it is, and I was trying to explain it to her. It's this amazing tree that grows in the tropics. It's very big and has a tiny leaf, and it has this fruit on there that looks like a bean almost, and it has, inside that bean, it has this basically in there, and it's seeds, and around those seeds is this kind of amazing pulp that's sticky, and if you get a little bit of it and you put it in your mouth, it's immediately sour. It has a flavor that I can't explain on camera. You have to buy it. But what you're after is tamarind pulp, not the pureed down paste or the processed paste. You want to do this yourself. So this pulp comes out of that amazing bean, wrapped around the seed. It has a lot of fibrous bits and pieces to it. And what we're going to do, and you can kind of see there, all that fiber, what we're going to do is put it in a bowl with some water and just let it dissolve, really. And then we're going to strain it to get all those fibers out. And you just want to push down at the seeds and the pulp that surrounds the seeds, and you get this milky kind of water. That's what we're after. You can see how thick this is coming because as I stir it, it's dissolving, and it's just perfect actually. And you can tell it's kind of like a brown, thick syrup. So what you do is you grab another bowl and you put the sieve over the top, dump it into the sieve, and just get all that amazing sour juice out of there, and then all that fibrous bits and pieces around the seed are going to stay in the sieve. Oh, that's perfect. Now have a look at this. You can see all the bits and pieces that have come off as I've added that water and squished and mushed. All right, so I'm going to need a little whisk. I'm going to whisk this sauce up, and we want the saltiness, which is the soy sauce. So I'm using tamari. Okay, so the sour is the tamarind in here. Now I'm going to add the tamari. It's a really good time to taste it now, so you can get an idea of the two salty and sourness coming together. Excellent. Now I'm going to add some maple for that sweetness. Then you taste it again. Yum. Oh my God, that's so good. And the next I'm going to add the peanut butter. Now you can have crunchy peanut butter, smooth peanut butter, whatever you have in the fridge. If you want to use almond butter, you could use a seed butter. The seed butters don't taste as rich as a traditional peanut butter. And if you want to make peanut butter, it's in my first cookbook, Plant-Based Love Stories. It's a beautiful cookbook. Yum. This is great. Really giving that a good mix. Make sure everything's dissolved. Have a taste. Oh, that's excellent. A little bit more maple. That is excellent. Notice how I just said a little bit more maple, and you're probably going, where's the recipe? How many exactly? Blah, blah, blah. You're after sourness, sweetness, saltiness, and also the depth of what the peanut butter brings, you know, creaminess, and also that peanut butter flavor that makes it a pad thai. So once you've done that, set that aside. Your noodles, mine have been soaking. Just want to have a look to see. They're really quite sturdy still, which is good, because we want them to absorb this liquid. Oh yeah. Oh my God, that's perfect. Following the instructions. All right, next is chopping up our veggies and our herbs. Hey, Lasmi, can you get me the herbs? Thanks, mate. The basil, whatever you have in the fridge, really. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Some coriander and some Thai basil, thank you. And I've got some spring onions. So let's run through the herbs just really quickly. And notice how I've got them in some really cold water. It keeps them nice and fresh, keeps them nice and plump, keeps them like I've just picked them, which I haven't. Oh my God, that feels so nice. Blessed. Oh my gosh, this herb is really strong. This is an incredible basil. Oh my God, it's so, there's different types of Thai basil, by the way. This is a very more lemony. I couldn't get exactly the right Thai basil today, but that's okay. I've got a little bit of coriander. I don't need a lot of this, by the way. I only need a little bit because it's super, super strong with that lemon flavor to it. And then I've got some spring onions here next to me, and they're basically the herbs. Now, if this was Thai basil, I don't know whether you've seen it before. There's Thai basil with a little bit of purple, like the flower on the end of the basil is purple. That's the one you want. This one is a lemon one, and it's strong, like I said, so I'm only going to use a few leaves. Got some coriander. Perfect. So you just want to pick those leaves off. Herbs bring so much flavor to a dish. They enhance the dish. They bring the dish to a different level altogether. It's almost like the MSG of the world, herbs are. Well, that's what I call them anyway. All right, got some spring onions here. The more the merrier, I would say, for me. I'm just going to cut them into ringlets. I'm cutting them into ringlets, you know. I'm not here to be the world's famous pad thai maker at all. I'm just trying to feed the family tonight. So if you're thinking that I'm cutting it wrong, sometimes people write in and go, she did that wrong, it's not right. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just hungry. I just want to teach you something. A little bit of chili for that heat. Got some amazing sprouts. Need to wash this broccoli because there's bugs all over it. This is tiny broccoli, super tiny. I am going to use the stalks of this broccoli. It was actually my mum that introduced me to using the stalks of the broccoli. Let me get my bin out. Now, broccoli's super fibrous, right? And so have a look in here. You can kind of peel it and you can see how fibrous that is. Yeah, you want to get rid of all of that. Yeah, I was saying my mum taught me how to use broccoli stems. Couple of cloves. These are really big cloves. Bit of ginger. Have a look at this root of this ginger. Oh my gosh. About a thumb size. Actually, it looks like my thumb, doesn't it? Just take a bit of the skin off. Give it a good wash. I cut strips as thin as I can, like a matchstick. And then you're just gonna run your knife through till you get that matchstick look. Oh, a little bit of tofu. If you're into tofu, put some tofu in there. If you're not, don't. I've just got some random tomatoes here that I want to put in this because I've got some random tomatoes and I've got some lime and I need more lime, but I don't have any, so I'm going to use some lemon. And this is the no panic midweek special of whatever's in your fridge. So really try and let go of the possibilities and think about the crunch and think about the chili and think about the noodles and stay in that zone because it's really important. I love the look at this. I love that the sauce is made. I love that I have the crunch. I love that I'm organized. I love that I feel good in making this. I'm not running around my kitchen looking for something. It's there. Music's on really high, you know, whatever tunes you love. And now we cook. Hot pan. As that's heating up, I just want to drain these noodles. And like I said, follow the packet. Oh, good. I'm putting my finger through that, see? Oh, perfect, perfect, perfect. Give them a good rinse. Oh, I love these noodles. They're really holding well together. I've never used really fat noodles like this before. Okay, set aside. Let's go back to our really hot pan. And we want to go straight in with, actually, let's see how hot this is. That's so cool. All right, we need some coconut oil. And what I like to do first with this particular pan, actually I do this with a lot of pans, cast iron, stainless steel, whatever's whatever, is get it super, super hot. This is the chef thing, and you've probably seen me do this in other videos with cast iron, but I'm gonna do this with stainless steel because this is not a non-stick pan. I'm gonna make it non-stick. Really hot. Coconut oil goes on the cloth, then I'm going to wipe around it, then I'm going to turn the heat down, and then I'm going to dump some oil in to do my stir frying. looks good, hey? Have a little taste. Oh my God, that's really good. Salt and pepper. Just a little, Cynthia, because I normally over pepper things. I don't know why I do that. This is delicious. Give it a little stir, and basically it goes on the table exactly like that. And then the last thing you do as you're serving it, where's my tongs, is that crunch of those nuts and some slices of tomato just to make it nice and fresh. Sesame seeds, some roasted sunflower seeds, some roasted pumpkin seeds, some more sprouts, and then a couple of wedges of lime, and then some chopsticks. And then my friend asked me, said, "Do you want some fried onions?" And I said, yes. It's like whatever you have around the house to add that crunch and that deliciousness to this is the key. It's just so simple. Some of those fried onions on there. Midweek special, everybody. Did that get off my chopstick then? Oh my God, it's delicious. Okay. A bit more lime. Delicious.